if you want something brought again to Hampton, make sure
Okay.
you let us know by Friday. Carol and Merlin will be at Wheaton uh, in November. Um, and then Carol and I will be at Albert Lee, Minnesota on December 6th and 7th. That'll be our next train show after we get done with Hampton and Wheaton. All right, see
Okay.
everybody next
Well,
week.
All right.
okay. Bye,
Amtrak
Keith.
train 4 to AMTK 174. We are going to be on Main 2 eastbound to Foreman Kinnaman. Over. Amtrak, let me get a hold of a couple guys. Get right back with you. Roger that. Amtrak train number 4,
All
Mississippi River
of
Bridge
this, and then we'll
operations.
get
Over. We're going to be on
started.
Main
Okay.
2.
Let's start with the work I got done on the layout of.
Kinnaman to follow.
So I guess
Yeah,
back
right.
to gaming window,
Yeah, Amtrak 1 through.
and I need to change my title. Hold on just a second. Here, we'll do rail fan cam while I'm doing it. Amtrak's trying to change mains here and get out of Fort Madison, so you guys can watch that.
And 511 are cleared up, and I'll only have to call one person. Sounds great.
Oh, because my cursor's.
Come up here.
Project.
And do that.
All about N scale with Jeff. You must have changed your name. Hi, Jeff. There we go. The update done.
Amtrak train 4 conductor. Marked and initialized is waiting on Kinnaman. Roger, initialized waiting on Kinnaman. All right, Bang. Before we clear up, I'd like for you to swing around so we can move that slab roller further out.
I'm going to turn desktop audio down. And down in my ear too here. Okay. So, hey Chris. All right, so we'll start with the train show. This is most of what I bought. Found. I got this Stewart diesel sand and fuel water column. I've been looking for one of these kits for a while. It was something that was on my grandfather's layout, and I wanted to also add it to mine. So we'll be building that here sometime soon. I guess I paid $8 for that. No, I think it was 6 because the guy gave me a little bit off. Found these 2 Grand Trunk cabooses. Go with my Grand Trunk locomotives. I was going to paint some, and I still might paint one. Haven't decided yet, but these will be a great addition also. Was happy to find these. Quite surprised to find these. Then we'll start up here. I got an ABA set of F3s, and really the only reason I got these was for the DCC frames. So I can repower my New York Central set of F3s. So I will have to either get some black fuel tanks and trucks or paint these. I'll probably just paint these. That'll be just as easy as anything. And then I will have DCC drives by New York Central engines, and then I can use those to power my pacemaker train again and get that out of staging. I was able to get those for a pretty good deal. Then I kind of splurged a little bit and ended up grabbing these. I don't know why, but I did. They were cheap. I got a UP AC 4400, Northwestern Dash 9, and a Southern Pacific Dash 9, which I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Haven't decided. But oh, that's even that. Yeah, we'll see. One of them might end up going to the viewer that's been looking for a shell. I'll talk to him about that. I did not get a raise. Trust me. And then I had a mix up. I bought this thinking I was looking for another SD40-2 drive, and I was mistaken. I was looking for another SD40 drive, so I don't know what I'm going to do with this. We'll figure something out. But it's here now. Stay on it. Consist. Wrong box. 770. I wonder if it's got DCC in it, maybe. You have a list of questions for me next Sunday. Uh-oh. That ought to be interesting. I bought these 3 UP engines because I guess my justification was the theme of the layout is stuff I remember from growing up, and growing up in Iowa in the SP CNW merger era. I remember seeing stuff like this, and so I grabbed them on a whim. But I don't really have a train to pull with them. So, I don't know. We'll see. The BN I could use for run-through power, yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But the other thing I bought is up on the layout. It's a California Zephyr, Cato California Zephyr set. One of those situations where I bought it to basically split it up, take a few cars out of it for my Amtrak trains. And then I'll part out the remaining cars individually with all my other extra passenger cars that I have. Put that up on the layout. Now, we'll go through the work I did last weekend on the layout. So if I switch to gaming window. Okay. So the biggest issue that we had in the last operating session was the clearance through the doorway, where these two tracks were butted right up against each other, and it needed to be widened out. So the idea that I had was to mimic the spline benchwork idea, where you stack pieces of masonite sandwiched to each other, and I just cut some basically 1-inch strips of masonite and just started stacking them to build out the edge of that homosote. And then I sandwiched the plexiglass in there. I put one more piece on the outside just to make it look nice. So now we can run through there with both clearance cars, not have an issue. And it's all nice and pretty. And we shouldn't have any more issues there. Other thing I did is I finally got rid of the super elevated curves. Replaced them with 481 radius curves. This is going around the furnace room. The opposite end in the cabinet has a kind of a low joint in the middle. I still need to fix that. I'll probably do it this weekend. Basically, the track kind of comes off the edge of the benchwork like it did in here, but more so, and it just kind of dips down and back up. Be an easy fix. You have to put a little strip of something in there, and then kind of one more picture of the new area. I did a bunch of realignment along that curve too, to space things out better. So the only thing that's really left operationally is number 4 switches, and what I'm going to do with those. So grabbed one, and I'm going to mess around with it a little bit. One thing I noticed, oops, modeling desk. I was going nuts up there. Doesn't like being in the kennel, and I have not had a chance to bring him down here and get him introduced to this area and have him not have an accident down here. So I'll probably do that this weekend so he can just come down here with me and hang out and not be upset about being by himself. So, okay. So the other issue, 2 issues that I've noticed with these switches. I need a piece of track. Longer. Or just a truck. Probably just a truck. So the 2 issues that I'm having with these switches, and it's well documented. The first thing is the points right here. For whatever reason, the point on these switches seems to be more blunt and sharp than the number 6 switches. And if you've got any kind of outward force, it's gonna ride on there and pick that switch, and that's no good. Truck mounted couplers help a little bit. Or no, excuse me, misspoke. Body mounted couplers help a little bit because you don't have the force of the coupler pushing things out, causing it to pick, so it's free to go through there pretty smoothly. The other thing I noticed on a few of the switches is right here, I had a couple switches where the throw bar or throw rail was pointed this way a little bit. And so it would get to the stock rail and pick that too and derail. And this one doesn't do it, but I've got a few in the other room that I've noticed does do it. And I want to see how this is all mounted in there and see how hard that is to fix. So, well, this one they use star bits instead of, oops, need my star bit bill. Is it that one or is it? Not that one. That's the other thing other story I'll tell from the show. I usually go to those shows to help Carol and Keith. I got to this show, and I do my usual walk around before the show opens up and get what I want to get before I have to fight with the crowds. And most of the stuff that I bought, well, everything except for that sand tower, I found at a table This lady was unfortunately selling her late husband's N-scale collection, or trying to, and she didn't really have any idea what he had and how much it was worth. So, I mean, the people that organized the show were tried to help her out, but they were mostly HO scalers. And so they were trying to help her with pricing, and I was listening to what they were telling her, or what the one guy was telling her for prices, and he was okay. He wasn't too far off, but he was pretty darn cheap in what he was telling her to price stuff at. And so after he left, I told her, it's like, yeah, what the prices he told you were pretty reasonable prices, so I would not go any lower than what he told you. He's like, oh, okay. And there's a few things here that you have that you should probably go higher than what he's saying. And I told her the prices. Mostly it was a few engines that she had that had sound in them. And I ended up pretty much spending most of my free time over with her, helping her out, and kind of making sure people didn't try and pull one over on her and get stuff for a steal. So, and she did really good at the show, sold a bunch of stuff. Didn't sell everything, but that's fine. I don't know what she's going to end up doing with what she had left. She had HO scale stuff at home too that she still had to figure out. Hey, what I wanted to look at was how these points mounted, and it looks like they just kind of float in there, which is weird. That's that. That's no, that's. I don't want to rip this whole thing apart. Must be that. So I suppose the only easy way to deal with this is to just grind the stock rail down so there's no chance of picking that point. Okay, that's what I was afraid of. I was hoping it was something that was screwed in and it was just a matter of pulling the plate off and cranking that screw down to tighten that piece of rail in. It is not. It's just floating there, which kind of sucks. I don't understand why Kato hasn't addressed these switches yet, because they've been designing them like this for 20 years, and they've had issues for 20 years or longer, ever since they started Unitrack. And they fixed the number 6s. They did those differently. Those have a fixed throw piece that's all like one solid bent piece. Those don't have any issues. But the number 4s are still moving on and having an issue here. Okay. That's back together. Why is that still bowed out? Down, tighten this part in. Hold that down. And reset that, see if that flattens it out a little bit. Yeah, better. Hey, Mike. How are you doing tonight? All right. So the plan, I guess, will be... Dog, you need to freaking relax. You are not trapped in that freaking crate forever. I'm going to try and do this without having to pull all the switches out. But basically, it's go in there and try and grind down, sharpen that up a little more than it already is by getting in there with the Dremel. I tried the idea where people say to pull the stock rail out and then file out the stock rail to let the throw bar kind of go into it, and I've never had good luck with those switches after I made that modification. I don't know what it is, but they just don't act right after that. And then get in there and pin that down as best as I can with the Dremel. If that doesn't work, then I don't know what There's a theory of changing them all to number 6s, but Dr. E and DDS. I went to the dentist the other day. No cavities. So that was nice. Ugh. Grab a number 6 switch quick. Wait a minute, though. Wait a minute. Wait. So, okay, I've already modified. I'm going to start chopping into this. I've already modified one of these. Okay, so here's the difference between the switches. Let's see how this is all one solid piece. And this is all one solid piece. So there's no room for this to really do anything. And then I'm going to measure this too. It seems like the sharpness of the point is sharper on the number 6 than it is on the number 4. Let's kind of measure this here. Do this. In thousandths. What's this one measure to? Well, either I already filed this one down or call me a liar because this is actually thinner. Well, one thing I could do is I could measure rail plus throw bar. Point 3.8 versus 0.37. So about the same. Oh, I've already cut into this switch once, so not the end of the world. Okay. Ooh, that's all coming out of there, isn't it? That's no good. Hold on. Ugh. Well, I could just do it with my clippers. What'd you say? I need a new office shingle, DDS, and sawbones. Civil War model routing. This is kind of dark humor, but one of this thing I thought of is, if you're ever in a Civil War reenactment, who would you want to play in the reenactment? And my answer would be the surgeon. A, because I don't have to probably don't have to see any battle, and B, because I get to do surgeon stuff. Like I said, dark humor. That just doesn't work. Let's try more aggressive saw. That's gonna carry that out beyond, maybe not. Yeah, it is. I was better off doing exactly what I was doing before, because this is going to cause me to have a stray tie there. I don't really want. I can trim that out easy enough. So that gets the geometry pretty close to number 4 if I had to. Close. I mean, it's not perfect, but the other thing is I probably need to go back and look at Pico the Pico switches, the mediums, and maybe substitute those for the number 4s. I'll have to check the comparison in that geometry. For us Ho, for us HO guys, you're changing a number 6 into a number 4. I'm looking to see if that's a possibility, geometry wise. I mean, obviously I'm not going to modify the switch into being a number 4 beyond just cutting back all the excess space, but just messing around, trying different things. I don't think this is going to end up working out. So Laverne had the N-scale fire hydrants at the shop today, Terry. How'd they look? I don't think she showed those on the N-scale show tonight. I was surprised then. a good solution. That's not even long enough to get in there. I thought that piece of rail would be longer. At least long enough. This will try a different piece then. Well, so well, it's possible to get it close if I have a real problematic spot, which I can think of one real problematic spot that needs to be dealt with. I could retrofit some number sixes in there and get through it, but let me see if I can look up. I don't think I'd be able to do this right now. I'll probably have to do it on the probably have to do it on the computer. But what I can do is I can take a number 4 switch and put it on the desk here. As Pico offers measured pictures of all of their switches buried on their website where you can, it's hard to find them, but I saved them years ago when I was designing my layout for Pico Track. But if I take a picture of the switch on the measuring tape, then I can use that to compare measurements to the Pico switch. So 10, so about 5 inches long. I can overlay them and see how close they are. So the solution might end up being just getting some Pico medium switches and replacing the number 4s where I get into some tight spots and have constant problems. But I'll go through and grind them first and see if I can make things a little better. Now the one big downside to Kato Track are these damn switches. Yeah, even that's. And then the weird thing is it never picks it that direction. But as soon as I go this direction, pick, 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 pick. Ah. So what the hell changed there? Now the thing won't throw. Oh, now it will. Rail elevation is okay at the points. Points are actually a little on the high side, maybe. That was enough to do it. Hey, Eugene. That was enough to do it. Yeah, that. Toothpick is just to kind of hold the point rail away from the stock rail without, and then keeping it from moving. That's the idea behind the toothpick. Let me try. Come on, dog, relax. Let me try my Nemesis, the 86-foot boxcar. And I'm pushing, I'm pushing over on the car, and it's okay. Well, we'll try it. Yeah, I know these little guys running around the little number 4 switch kind of looks ridiculous. Yeah, they kind of see the. Oh no, you can't really see it. They kind of hang out a little bit on the opposite side. And all right, well, I guess I've got some switch filing to do this weekend. Not a couple. There's whatever I did to that switch seemed to help a lot. So I guess I'll get a couple of files and start a filing. Cool. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap it up so I can go upstairs and let the dog relax. I will be back. I'm gonna suspend the Sunday streams for a while, so I will be back next Monday. We'll work on more JMRI stuff. I'm gonna try and get into train schedules. I was able to get back into that multimodal ways and pull actual prototype train schedules and local way freight schedules and get job names, and I can implement all of that. Probably have to add a few things that are unprototypical, but it'll at least look right to the trained eye. So look forward to that. Also, Hampton this weekend. I'm planning to go up there and hopefully not spend as much as I spent at Iowa City, because I spent a lot. So talk to you later. Have a good night. Thanks for watching. Bye. Oh yeah, you're enjoying the JMRI series? Yeah, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Okay, talk to you guys later.